Hello, and welcome to the Grit role-playing game explained. Today I'm going to talk about the game Pantheon and about the different gods that are in play and some options for player characters and followers of some of these different gods. I'm going to start out with Avig, and followers of Avig would most likely be healers, and houses of Avig are going to be places which are hospices and refuges for the injured and the needy and the sick, and so forth. And followers of Avig would spend their time in worship caring for people in need. As it follows, Avig's philosophy and kind of religious practice and doctrine is one of restoration and help, and more specifically, it's about synchronicity and negentropy, and Avig followers believe that they can bring good to the world and restore the world and help the world be better through establishing order and cycles of routine and cycles of regular practice. So they're always trying to restore people back to not just heal them, but also to restore them to a healthy lifestyle. In the kingdom, there were many houses of Avig. It was a popular religion. Many people would make donations or worship in some way, and the more that one kind of donates to these people of need and to this process, the more devout that they're seen as, the more, that's virtuous. And unfortunately, Avig is an enemy for our hunger, so when our hunger, which is, I'll talk about later, but is followed by many of the horde clans and warbands, when they entered the kingdom in the invasion, they destroyed the Avig temples, took them over, and turned them into houses of hunger. So there's kind of a juxtaposed religious temple, a house of Avig versus a house of hunger. And as we talk about house of hungers later, any that exist in the kingdom now were likely once houses of Avig and were intentionally converted and desecrated and taken over with an intent to insult by the Our Hunger followers. And moving on to Sio and Nion, also known as the Mirror. These are two juxtaposed opposing deities. Sio is a god of knowledge, a god of truth and light, a very extremist true follower of Sio would never lie. They would always tell the truth in everything. Followers of Sion can take on as far as players' characters, could take on a kind of inquisitor role where they're seeking out to uncover falsenesses and lies and to expose the truth. They could also just be a protector and keeper of knowledge of some kind. Sio followers, in terms of collectives and organizations, are going to run schools, and they're going to run libraries and depositories, and they're also favored by, we'll get to Levian followers later, but favored by merchants, and merchants may not necessarily follow Sio, but they may like to work with Sio followers who can keep records for them and do banking for them and manage contracts for them and do accounting for them, because Sio followers are very trustworthy since they're all about the truth and maintaining good records and knowledge. And Sio followers also will have some psionic abilities, as Sio is always seeking knowledge and unlocking the mind and the power of the mind and the body and so forth. Sio can also be a patron for magic schools, so there could be magicians. There could also be divine magic users, followers of Sion, that again would be using, as I discussed earlier, their magics to divine, to seek out and find the truth, to expose falseness and so forth. Nion followers are the exact opposite. Nion is a goddess of mystery, very introverted and secretive, favors having freedom, deception, persuasion, and so forth. Nion followers are unlikely to tell anyone that they are a follower of Nion. It's not unheard of, but they don't really need to present that, and they may even be pretending to be a follower of Sio or some other god. They may have a facade of another type of worshiper or follower. We'll get to Leviathan, the anvil now. Leviathan is a god of industry, also war, progress, and creation, and so forth. They believe in accountability, and they demand hard work. Temples of Leviathan would actively seek political power, economic power, military power. They may keep a force of soldiers, knights, holy warriors, so to speak. And kind of a cult of wealth. They're always seeking after prosperity and progress, and they believe that in manifest destiny for themselves, that they are destined and entitled to control and rule the world and take sovereignty over entire regions and so forth. And Leviathan followers are likely to charge taxes and tithes across in places where they believe that they have sovereignty. Leviathan is worshipped by many of the freemen, as also was worshipped by some kingsmen, and is very popular with the dwarves. Okay, and on to our hunger. Now, our hunger, it spoke about a little bit previously, is very popular with orcs and goblins. Our hunger, there is no avatar god for our hunger. It's just known as our hunger, and it's believed that the followers of the original avatar consumed it and have kind of taken in the power and spread it out amongst all of them. They have houses of hunger where they do take care of their own. There would be some healing magics and so forth, healers and clerics and so forth, but they also very unapologetically prey on their enemies. So they're not out to just take care of the needy or anything. They take care of their own only, very aggressive. They're opposed to any kind of codification. Extremists are even opposed to any kind of written language, any kind of records, any kind of formal rule sets, any kind of accounting, any kind of currencies. And they just believe in following your raw instincts and following your heart and doing what you feel like doing in the moment. They also believe in the pact of power. Those who want take, those who can take deserve. So they believe in kind of taking what they need when they want it. And for knowledge, they're not against knowledge per se, but they believe the knowledge should be carried practically, hands-on knowledge, raw ability, and they keep histories through songs, oral songs. So history is important to them, but they don't like to record it in books, and they don't trust that those, that they have to read something and that's the truth. They believe that things that occur should be told and passed on through dialogue and song from generation to generation, and they believe that that's how the truth is kept. They do believe in their freedom, and they like to be free, but at the same time, many of them keep slaves. So there is a lot of hypocrisy in this religion as well. Then we have finally the Fey balance, and this would your druids and so forth. They believe in Fey magic and keeping the harmony of nature and maintaining ecosystems, ecosystems, and maintaining natural order. They are not necessarily sharing who they are and what their beliefs are with everyone. They can be very reclusive and secretive. If they are in the kingdom now, if a follower of the Fey balance was in the kingdom, they may be there to try to gather information or intel to see what's going on, and to try to prevent followers of Leviathan, which is an enemy deity for Fey balanced, of establishing power. And they may be concerned about incursions and invasions into the Fey forest and further destruction of natural areas and advancement of society and so forth. The Fey balance followers weren't necessarily for the kingdom, and they're definitely not for the freemen or the horde either, but they aren't necessarily for the kingdom either. And most of them live reclusively in the forest, in the Fey forest, and so forth. Okay, so that covers all of the deities, and I hope that gives you some ideas if you'd like to play a character that has a religion or follows a certain god.